Hello fellow crafters, this is Jane Fires, independent coach with Fun Stamper's Journey number 151. Today I want to show you how to do a little pointed box. Now, I'm going to show you several varieties and then we're going to do a Christmas one. But this one here I did for Halloween. And what I did, this little paper clip at the top is off of our All Halloween Eve clips, and you can see you get 6 of them and they're all different designs. But for this one, because I used the bones and the skeleton, I went ahead and used the pumpkin on here. Then for my pumpkin itself, I used our Spooksville die set, and I used this one here, and I used Summer Days and our Tangerine Fusion. So, when I did my Spooksville die of my pumpkin, I cut the pumpkin itself out, of course, with my Tangerine Fusion. Then I took the yellow, which is our Summer Days, and I just cut a piece, and I think I have one here I can show you somewhere. And what I did is I just cut it enough so that it would be right here in the pumpkin part, and then I just glued it on the back. Then what I did is I took the Journey glaze that we have, and I did his eyes, his nose, and his mouth with it. So this is the one that I did to start with, and this was where I got my paper from. It was the skeleton one here from the Halloween print. So you can see for both Thanksgiving and for Halloween you have several different prints here that you can use. And this set is available, of course, until the end of December. So you can get it. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. The candy one here would be cute to do also for Halloween. So this is the set here that I used in paper. Then I did another one, and it looks like this. And the paper that I used for this one is out of Through the Year Prints. And this is nice because this one here, Through the Year Prints, has all 12 months. And there are 2 pieces for each month. So you have 24 pieces, and this can be used for any month of the year. You have New Year's, and then you have February, you have March, you have April, May, June, July, August, September, the beginning of school, October, November, and December. So this can be used for a lot of things, including scrapbooking, because you could do a double-faced page. But this is the one that I did where I got the paper out of for this one. And then the stamp or the words that I used came out of Hello Fall. And this is one of my favorite stamp sets. We've had this in our catalog for a couple of years, and I used the word thankful out of it. And something new that we have this year are the leaves that are sparkly. And they're a free gift, and they're called Golden Leaves. And with your order in the front of the catalog, this is a bloom benefit. And so you can get it for a $150 order or more. So this is that one. So this is the little Thanksgiving one. And with this one, I also used some of our little paper brads and punched a hole in it and just put those through. So that's the fall one. And then I also did a couple, and that's what we're going to do today, Christmas ones. I did this one here using Cozy Prints, and I did this one here also using Cozy Prints. Now you can see I decorated them completely different, and that's one of the things that I like about our product is you can use our products and decorate them any way you want to. On both of these I used some of our threads. I also used some of our little brads that are different colors. I used our little jingle bells, and I used our poinsettia. The words here came from the set we're going to use today also because I really like the way these fit. This is the set that we're going to use today, and that's what I used on these two, and it's called Winter Build-A-Scene. And of course we're going to use our Merry Christmas words, and then because this also has the die with it, when I die cut anything, I cut several out, and you can see I have my little deer and a snowman and the little fence, and it all came from this set here. And then I also cut out the little banner already, and this is what we're going to use today for the one that we're going to do. So we're going to do one that's a little different than either one of these, but we will use our paper out of the Cozy Prints. So that just gives you an idea of everything that you can do with this particular design. Now, this is the print that we're going to use today out of Cozy Prints, and it is the Christmas one. This was another one that I had already started to cut, which is similar to this and this one, the front and the back. All right, so this is all ready to just put together also. But we're going to start here because you need to know exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Now you're going to need 2 pieces, all right, of our cardstock or of our paper. You could use cardstock though for this as well. And in this case I've made these 10 inches long. Now you could make them longer if you wanted to, but I did 10 inches. And then what I did is I used our scoreboard and I scored it at 4 inches here, and then I went over to 6 and I scored it at 6, so that I have 4 inches on each end, and in the middle I have 2 inches. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it right now on our scoreboard because you do need 2 pieces of this. So layer down, score it at 4, and go over in 6. So that's our scoreboard, and I've showed you the scoreboard before, and it's one of my favorite tools that we have with Fun Stampers, and the reason that it is because if you turn it over, your scoring tool stays in, and here is your little slide out triangle that gives you all the measurements for making boxes, for making envelopes, as well as box envelopes. So this is really handy. So now I've done our scoring, so I'm simply going to fold this piece. And then what you're going to do, you need to make the little points. So what I do is I simply take my ruler, which is our metal ruler from Fun Stampers Journey, and at the top I put a little mark on the inside at 1 inch, because I know I want to go in at the 1 inch point. So then I simply measure in, and in this case I'm going to measure in 3/4 of an inch, and I put a little mark there. And the reason that I do that is because now I can take my Grand Pro scissors, and I've got my little mark. I don't know if you can see it very well there, but I've got my mark there, which is right below where my 1 inch is. So I'm going to come up to my corner, and I am simply going to cut in to my middle mark. And I'm going to do that on both ends, or both corners. And then I've got it, so I know exactly what I'm doing. Now, in most cases, because you always have to have 2, I do 1 first, and then I line them up together, because then I know I've got it exact, and then I just cut it in. But if you're not sure and you want to make absolutely sure, then go ahead and do the measurements like I showed and told you. So now I have both of them ready to go. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I need to glue the center parts here, okay? And because on this one I want the berries and the ivy to show, or the holly rather, I'm going to put my glue, and I am using glue for this one, because I want to make sure that it's going to hold together really well. So I simply put my glue on this one, and this is of course our Journey craft glue, and then I line this up in the middle, right where I want it. And of course your craft glue gives you a little bit of time if you need to slide something around, just to make sure. Okay, but now that's there. It's going to take a couple minutes or so for it to go ahead and set. So we're going to set that one aside, and I'm going to pick up the one that I have already done. Now the other thing that you're going to do with this one, and you're only going to do it to one of your sides, is you're going to go from the corner where your fold is up to where your point is. And I do this on my scoreboard. All right, so what I simply do is I take my scoreboard and I line up my corner. And I'm lining my corner up at 6. So now I'm going to scoot this around and put my little point right there, my little indentation right there at my 6. So that now I've got both of them at 6. And I can simply score it down. And then I can fold it. And I'm going to do that on all four, on these two sides and down here. I don't have to do the front and the back, but I have to do the middle part. And of course the reason for doing that is because now I can fold these in and glue them to my other part. Now how I do my gluing on this part is I always put down some of our tearable tape, our tape that rips, because I know it's going to hold, and I also add glue to it. So I put my tape on my sides here, remembering that I can't go past with my tape or my glue where my fold line is. So I have that right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on this other side. Then I'm going to take my craft glue, and down here where it's folded, but I can't get my tape is too wide, I'm going to go ahead and apply some craft glue there and up the other way beside the tape. And to put your glue exactly where you want it, you can feel your score line. And so you can always go ahead and follow your score line. Okay, so I've got my glue on both ends. So now I'm going to take my bloom tool and take off the cover to my double-sided tape. And do that on both ends. Then take one end, and I'm going to bring up my other side. Now I want to line my points up. So I'm going to take one side, and I start at the top with my points and line them up to the edge and press it down. Then I bring the other side up. This is the part that's a little tricky, but it's really not that hard. And once you've done one or two of them, you'll know exactly what you're doing. But I start with my point, and then I walk it down. Then I can do the other side and bring it up. Now, I should have done this too. Once you've got, I do 3 sides, and then once I have my 3 sides glued in, I go ahead and put my candy or whatever I'm going to put inside, and then I do the other one. Now on this one, I'm going to glue all 4 sides so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have all 4 sides glued, and I can open it up so that I can put some candies in here. All right, so for example, Hershey's Kisses will work, the little nuggets will work. I have some of the little other candies that are small that will fit in here. Once you have whatever you're going to put in, then you can put this together. Now, you can see right here, I don't quite like the way it looks, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it. Simply take my Grand Pro scissors and trim that little piece off. So now I have it trimmed. So now I'm ready to decorate it. So on this one, what I'm going to do is put the words at the top of Merry Christmas. Now I can, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and put some little colored brads in, but on this one, it's holding close enough together so that I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is take some of my red thread, and I'm going to put my jingle bells on. Now what I do is I put my one jingle bell on and I tie it in a knot because I want him to stay right down at the bottom of where I'm going to put him. So I put him on, then I put my other little jingle bell on, and where I want him, again, I tie a knot. Because then I know that my jingle bells are not right beside each other. And that looks a little bit too far apart. One of the nice things about our thread, and this is our candy apple thread, is you can play with it so that you can get them exactly where you want them at. Okay, that looks good right there. So now I have my little jingle bells attached. And so now I've got them both knotted. So I'm going to take the other end of my thread and run it through my second jingle bell. So there they are, right there. They'll hold together like that up here where I want them to be. So then what I do is I just tie another knot right there at the top where I know they're going to hang down from. And then I clip one side. I'm taking the other side now and I'm going to just make a small little bow. Okay, here are the little bells, how they come. They're called rose gold jingles, and there are 20 pieces in a pack. And they come like this, so that you have both the shiny and the one that is not quite as shiny, okay? And they're called rose gold. And that's what, of course, I've used on this one. So I'm going to take my Merry Christmas now. And, of course, as I showed you earlier, it comes out of our little Winter Build-A-Scene stamp set. And stamp my little banner that I've already stamped and cut out. And then on the back of it, I am going to use some of our Journey foam squares. And these are the medium ones, as I've used many times, because I like to cut them up. And I can cut them any size that I want them. So peel my backing off. And apply it where I would like it. I think I want it about there, but I want my jingle bells that I've also made a bow on underneath it. So I'm going to put my Merry Christmas right there. And then what I'm going to do for my bow, because that's about where I want it, I'm going to take one of our Journey glue dots and put it on the back where my knot is. And attach it at the top of my box. So there's this little box. The other thing that I was thinking about with these little boxes, if you did one like I did this one for Thanksgiving, you could always go ahead and put a name on it and make it a name place at a table as well. And then inside, of course, you can hear I have some little candies. This is one that I did a brad on. So let me undo the brad and I'll show you. Okay, on this one what I did is I glued 3 sides and I left this side open so that you could see the candies in it. Okay, so you wouldn't have to glue them if you were going to use like a brad to put it together. You could just use your brad, punch your hole, and put it in. On the one I did today for you, I did glue it. So there's that one. Now the one that we did earlier here, okay, this one, if I wanted to put it together, I wouldn't have to glue it. I could just put brads in there. Let me fold this one. So I could just put a brad on each side here. Stick it together with the brad and not even glue it all. And then on this side I'd glue it. I would glue one side and leave the other side not glued. But I'd use brads then on both sides. So that gives you an idea of something that you could use for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for Halloween. And all different designs. All you do is use different accessories and different paper. Cardstock works as well. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. You can email me at Serif, S like in Sam, E-R-I-F, which is my last name backwards, at serif1@aol.com. Have a great and blessed day.